passion igniting the light through highs and lows. We'll stand as one, a legacy, a tale that's just begun. Together we roar, together we roar. The Detroit Lions will rise, with a heart full of dreams and the fire in our eyes. From the past to the future, we'll claim our own. In the home of the brave, we'll proudly have grown. So let's lift our voices, let's turn it up loud. For the love of the Lions, we'll always be proud.
All right, good morning. Sorry about the lateness this morning, but hey, it's the Rise and Grind Morning Show. It is Monday morning. We've got a lot to talk about today. Brad Holmes was busy over the weekend. Good morning, Eric. How you doing this morning, buddy?
Really, really good. Other than the 3 inches of snow we got last night.
Only 3?
Yeah, only about 3.
Oh. Yeah, only 3? Okay.
Only.
Yeah.
Listen, there was so much snow in my driveway yesterday, I broke my plow.
Oh, no. How do you break a plow on 3 inches of snow?
No. There was like 2 feet.
The snow drifts.
So the bracket that holds my plow and allows it to go back and forth broke, and then it completely snapped off. So I have nothing holding my plow up now. So I had to jerry rig it and make it just so I could pull my plow back into the drive or into the garage.
There you go. That's always fun when you get your first major snow of the year. Yeah, we're supposed to get like another foot today. So
stupid mission.
Fun stuff. You know, you go from like 60-degree weather, you're having tailgates out in the sunshine, and now it's old man snow wants to come have some fun. But speaking of snow, there is one glove out there that does not care how cold it is. Does not care if it's raining, if it's windy, does not matter. And that's C3 mitts. This is by Better the Hunt Technologies. These mitts are absolutely incredible. You guys got to get these on your hands today, because not only are we giving away a C3 mitt today, it is Multi-Mitt Mondays. So somebody in the chat today is going to be given a free pair of the multi-mitts. But it's a veteran-owned and designed for the extreme hunter that does not want to allow the cold to keep them out of the woods. Now, I've tested these things for the last week. I've had some fun with them, and I'm excited about them. So I'm extremely excited that we get to give these away every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from now through Christmas. Somebody is going to get Mega Multi-Mitt Monday, and then we're going to do rifle mitts, crossbow mitts, you name it. All throughout the week, you guys get to pick and choose what you're going to be able to bring home. So visit c3mitts.com today. They're the ones that are making it possible. Better the Hunt Technologies. Don't let your hands cut your hunting season short. Get c3mitts.com in the action and on your hands and on your rifle today, or your crossbow, or if you're just golfing, right? You could just be out golfing. You just want to keep your hands warm. These things have a little insert inside of them. I'll show you. There's a little insert in here where you can put one of those little handy dandy hand warmers. You can slide it right in that pocket right there. So you're always going to be warm. But anyway, who else was warm this weekend? Brad Holmes was on fire. Absolutely on fire this weekend. What do you think about the moves?
How is he pulling in former All Pros and 3-time Pro Bowlers? And I don't get it, man.
Well, the simple answer is the guys were available, right? I mean, they're available, they're available, they're available. And when they're available, Brad's going to find you. So that's the deal. I mean, they're on practice squads. And when you're veterans, you don't have to sign with another team, right? So if you have more than 3 years of accrued eligibility in the NFL, you don't have to sign with anybody. As long as you are a vet and you have your accrued seasons, you can say, nah, I'm good. I'm going to stay right here. So the fact that he brought in, all of these players this past weekend that, most of them are vets, I think that speaks volumes to what they believe in. And what they think about the Detroit Lions and Brad Holmes, and Dan Campbell. I mean, they all have, a couple of them have former relationships. So I think it's incredible. Let's talk about them this morning. Who do you want to start with?
I want to start with Christopher Cunningham in the chat. He just upgraded to elite club level.
Oh, nice. Good work, Chris. Appreciate you. Big shout out to you, buddy. So that means that you're going to be getting some coffee here pretty soon, which by the weekend, here, let me get you some applause real quick. Quick update on coffee. So 36 packages went out yesterday. Was a good day of packing and wrapping. Actually, they went out this morning, but it was a good day of packing and wrapping. So a lot of stuff went out. There's a lot of prizes and stuff that went out. The raffles, everything's on its way. So you guys should be receiving that here in the next couple of days. I know a couple of you got a few extra things in your box, so be interested to hear back what you guys think. And we're not done, so we still got more work to do. But thank you, Christopher. Appreciate it.
All right. To get back to your question, I want to start with the guy I think might make the biggest impact of the three people that we signed this weekend.
Before you say his name, I'm going to say this. We might disagree on this one.
Okay.
We might. Yeah. We'll see.
Well, I'm sure we will, but I want to start with Jonah Williams.
Okay. Is that the guy you think is going to make the biggest impact?
I think in the long run, he might be the guy that makes the biggest impact on this team because he might be the one that actually stays with this team after this year.
Interesting. Okay. So you're thinking future. You're not so much thinking like what's going to happen next week or as soon as they hit the field.
Yeah, as soon as they hit the field. And I think he has the best chance to stick around.
Okay. So without starting with Jonah first, here's what I'll say. The fact that we picked up Jamal Adams is huge, right? Quan Alexander is also big time.
Yep.
Now, a little bit past, maybe their prime, but that doesn't mean anything because experience in being a veteran in this league sometimes is better than all else, right? You've got all the experience and the know-how, you know what's going on, you can fit into a defense, you can make some plays. Just knowing where to be makes you faster on the field. So even though maybe you've dropped a step, you're not as fast as you used to be, whatever. I'm not saying that about Jamal or Quan because I really don't know. But that's been reported, right? Some people reported maybe they've lost a step in their career and they're just not the same player. And that's why he was on a practice squad, whatever. The thing that I love, and we'll get into it all, but the thing that I love, I think Jamal Adams might be the guy that makes the biggest impact this season. But I do believe that Quan Alexander is going to help this team out a lot. But anyway, we'll get into it all. So you want to start with Jonah Williams?
Sure. Let's go.
All right. Do you have anything on Jonah Williams? Do you want me to roll on Jonah
Williams?
A little
bit. So Williams is a familiar player for GM Brad Holmes. With the Los Angeles Rams, Holmes was part of the scouting staff that brought in the 6'5", 275-pound Williams as an undrafted free agent back in 2020. Williams played collegiately at Weber State, and despite being on the Rams practice squad at the time of the Lions signing him, Williams was a full-time starter in Los Angeles last season. So that's where it gets me. He was a full-time starter last year, and he bagged 2 sacks and 49 tackles while starting 16 games in his third season with the Rams. Williams can play both inside and outside, spending most of his time playing over the offensive tackle. He signed this offseason with the Minnesota Vikings, but failed to make their roster out of camp.
So, yeah, I mean, look, the Rams got really, really good this offseason. They completely upgraded their defensive line all over the place. So when you look at a guy like Jonah Williams that maybe didn't make the squad, I think you have to look at why, right? They brought in Jared Verse, Braden Fisk, and others, right? Even though Aaron Donald retired, and stick that name in the back of your cap, right? Because this is a guy that Jonah Williams played next to. This is a guy that Jonah Williams learned from. And those are the types of guys that when you're coming up in a league that you need as a veteran in front of you that not only does it as the best in the league, but somebody that is a teacher, someone that can help you get better at your craft. So Jonah was kind of up against it with the Rams, right? I mean, they upgraded their defense all over the place, and he couldn't make the squad this year. Still ended up on the practice squad, but he couldn't make the 53. You look at the Lions roster, right? And I think when you look at the Lions roster, number one, it's a vision that Dan Campbell has about the roster. It's a vision that Brad Holmes has about the roster, that everybody on this roster is going to play. So you can't discredit the guys that are on the practice squad and think that, well, they're just vet squad. They're just practice squad guys. They're not really going to help us. You'd be wrong. Maybe on other teams, but not on this team. And I will tell you this, I think some of the other teams around the league have adopted that same strategy, that, maybe Jonah Williams didn't help him out immediately because he wasn't on the 53, but he's a guy that has played, to your credit, to your point. He was a starter last year, right? He got in quite a few games. So, yeah, I think that he is someone that could help out this team for the future. I absolutely believe that. There is a possibility that if he does get in and really starts helping the Lions out this season, that maybe there'd be an opportunity for him to come back next season. Now, I didn't really prepare a ton on him other than some of the similar stuff, but I kind of walked through what he's done in his career and kind of where he's been. So Williams was signed by the Rams as an undrafted free agent following the 2020 draft. Okay. He was waived on September 4 of 2020 during final roster day cuts, and then was subsequently signed to the team's practice squad one day later. And then Williams was signed a future reserves contract that January. So after the season was over for the Rams that January, he signed a reserves future. Minnesota Vikings is where he ended up after that. So in 2021, he was claimed off of waivers by the Vikings, but then he was waived the next day for failing his physical. So that was a little concerning. Is that, when he was on the roster that early in 2020 with the Rams and then, waived and sent down to the practice squad, was there issues with his conditioning? What was going on there is my question. Has it been figured out? And then he came back to LA. So obviously LA had, thought that maybe whatever happened before wasn't going to happen again. But he was claimed off of waivers and sent to the Rams practice squad. Williams won his first Super Bowl ring that year. And then the Rams defeated the Cincinnati Bengals in the Super Bowl, obviously, that season. Oh, Trace is at it again. Here she goes. And then after the Rams in 2021, he went back to the Vikings. So he has 2 stints with the Rams, 2 stints with the Vikings. And so on March 18th of 2024, Williams was signed by the Minnesota Vikings to return for a second time. And then he was waived that August and then re-signed to the practice squad. And then guess what? He goes back to the Rams for a third stint this season in October of 2024. He was signed back to the active roster off of the Vikings practice squad. Obviously, the Rams are dealing with some injuries this season, and that's why he went back. And now he's with your Detroit Lions. Quick information about him, and then I promise I'll get to Trace here in just 1 second. So Super Bowl winner, Big Sky Defensive Player of the Year in 2019. He was a 2-time first team All Big Sky in 2018 and 2019, and second team All Big Sky in 2017. So look, he's been around it. He's played some good ball in his day. He's a pretty good player. I like his attitude. I tried to find some interviews of him, some that I can't play because of where they were at, but sounds pretty down to earth, pretty decent dude. So I'm excited to see what he does.
Yeah, Mike P in the chat had an interesting thing to say about him, that he reminds him of the commish. And what I believe he's here for is to be a direct replacement for our rookie Mekhi Wingo.
So replacement for this season, yeah, he could be. Yeah. I mean, he kind of fits that same model, Mike P. That he's inside, outside, very similar size. But what I like about the guys that Brad Holmes has been bringing in is, if you notice the size, right? If you look at the size of the guys we're bringing in, what is he, 6'5", 257 or something like that, or 275, 6'5", 275. So bigger guys. When you look at him, he looks lean. Does not look like he has an ounce of fat on him, and he can move. So Weber State College, so small-time school, making it into the NFL. And again, big-time shout-out to Trace, man. She's given away another 20 memberships this morning. Hey, Jay Cruzen got one. Look at that. Brett Lighton got one this morning. King SJ got one. Travis Scott got one. There we go. So just remember, If you guys want to keep, Jonathan Fleming got one. Good morning, Jonathan. If you guys want to keep your membership, you just got to let YouTube know. That is 259 members as of right now.
Wow.
And I can't wait till you guys taste the coffee, but we got the second batch of coffee just came in last night.
Right on.
So the new flavor. I haven't picked a name yet. I need you guys' help with a name. I have some ideas, but I need you guys' help with the name. And I'm trying to stick with one word names on the second flavor, but give it a couple of days and we'll try to figure it out because they got to get up and rolling on Buy Me a Coffee /Rockdown, where you can visit the store right now and get your Honolulu Blue brew. I would show you the coffee, but I'm all out for the moment. I'm all out. I don't have anything bagged up right now, so I got to go take care of that later today. Anyway, next guy. So Brad Holmes was very busy. He addressed the defense, all over the place this past weekend. And again, when you look at what Brad has done, I think that this tells you guys one thing and one thing, only. Like, this is a Super Bowl run for this team. Like, we're expected to go all the way. We are expected to go not just deep in the playoffs, but we're expected to get there. Like, this is us in New Orleans. We're supposed to be there this season. And he's going all out to try to bring in anybody and everybody he can. I mean, with the trade deadline over, and I'm surprised I haven't seen anything. Maybe I just haven't seen it yet. But I'm sure that there's somebody out there saying, well, Brad Holmes didn't do enough and he had more, opportunity to do this. And I told you should have brought in more pass rushers. Look, 53 is 53. 69 is 69. And you can't just bring guys in. It just doesn't work that way. These guys, on practice squads, a little bit different story. But to bring guys in, prior to this on the trade deadline, it's just not realistic. It's not how this team operates. Two, they have to be available, right? They have to be available. And it, just because you think that they're available doesn't mean that they're available. There's a lot that goes into this. It's a lot more than just playing Madden. Okay. I'll put it that way. It's a lot more than just playing Madden. The second guy, let's talk about Miles Adams. Do you have anything on Miles? I have a little bit.
Jamal Adams?
No, Miles Adams.
Who's Miles Adams?
Miles Adams. Guess we brought this guy in. We brought 4 guys in.
4 guys?
Yeah.
I didn't know about a 4th one.
Yeah.
I didn't see a fourth one. I saw Jamal Adams, Quan Alexander, and Jonah Williams.
So defensive lineman Miles Adams from the Seattle Seahawks. And he was brought in, I believe, on Saturday, if memory serves me correct. But anyway, he's an intriguing addition to this team as well. He comes with 4 years of experience playing with the Seahawks since entering the league as an undrafted free agent. He's played in 26 career games, including 3 this season for Seattle. One of those games was against the Lions. So he was playing against us in week 4. So you best believe that I'm going to go back and watch some tape, which I know we're supposed to be watching tape. We're going to start. We've had short weeks and sickness. We'll get back to watching tape tomorrow night. But I'm going to go back and look at the Seattle game, and I'm going to look for Miles Adams, and I'm going to see what I can find on this guy and what snaps he got in and how he played against our offensive line, because that's a true test. How did he fare against us? But he adds a good defensive tackle rotation next to Ali McNeil. He was another undrafted participant, right, out of the combine and out of the draft. So undrafted rookie. Adams entered the league in 2019. He faced the typical challenges as an undrafted player, spending time on practice squads with the Carolina Panthers and the Seattle Seahawks. Adams finally found more of a stable role with the Seahawks, if you will. He played in, like I said, 26 games over 4 seasons, 21 through 24, and primarily as a rotational defensive lineman. Notable games for him, though, in 2022, game against the Rams, Adams recorded 2 sacks and a forced fumble, which highlighted his disruptive abilities. So he is available to make some plays, which we need him to do. Now he has a new opportunity with the Detroit Lions, hoping he can add some depth and be a solid role player to what is definitely a pancake battered defensive line. You're in trouble.
Yeah.
try to make light of it somehow. But yeah, so good role player. I do like his ability to stick after the season. We'll see where he goes after this season. But I like his ability to stick. I think that he can add some competition to this team. But more importantly, we need him to play his best football right now. So you didn't have anything on Miles. What about next guy? I'm going to save Quan to last.
Okay.
Let's talk about Jamal for a minute.
All right.
What do you got on Jamal Adams?
Oh, let's see. Well, Jamal was a 3-time Pro Bowler. I know that much. I'm trying to see where my notes went here.
Here, I'll just read something from ESPN while you're looking for your notes. So 3-time Pro Bowl safety Jamal Adams signed with the Lions this weekend. Now he is promoted to the practice squad, but he is supposed to be elevated, in no time. He should be elevated to the main roster as quickly as possible. So with that expectation, though, according to Dan Campbell, he says this will be good. Getting Jamal here, we'll see if there's a place for him. It just gives us options. According to Dan Campbell. Now, I'm surprised that he said if there's a place for him, because I said this weekend, and I was planning on going live, but it just didn't happen. I kind of see what this Lions defense could potentially be doing here. For a while there, I said that there was no reason why we couldn't have 3 safety looks more often and go big with 6 defensive backs more often. And I still think that we can. We might be down to 2 linebackers majority of the time in this defense, which means that we're going to have to bring in a bigger safety that can play in a hybrid role, which I believe Jamal Adams could play. I believe that Brian Branch could play in a hybrid role down as a linebacker. If he was healthy, I mean, there's possibility for him, to play in a hybrid role. So I'm looking for this defense to really step up and make some changes this week and possibly next week. Maybe not so much this week because it's a short week, but possibly next week where you're going to start to see more 3 safety defensive linemen and allow this team to be more versatile with who we're using, plugging and playing, and who we're using on more of our rundown. So our biggest threat is losing the run game. If we start to lose against the run game, that's where this defense is going to struggle. And I think at all costs, this defense has to continue to stop the run. And the only way to do that is with guys like Brian Branch, with guys like Jamal Adams, who was a run stuffer in his day. So coming from a Seattle Seahawks type of defense, though, the majority of his career, he was known for that. He was known for getting his nose dirty and getting in there and plugging up the holes. So I'm excited to see what he does. And that's kind of why I said he might be the biggest pull, of these guys. Excuse me. Only because of what he can do for this defense and what he can allow this defense to do. Now, Quan Alexander is obviously a big time pickup as well. And I think that he's going to slide right in and he could help us with some of these, defensive schemes against the run, obviously, but I think it's Jamal Adams. I think that he's a more of a unique pickup that allows us to be more versatile, utilizing the defense that we haven't been using a whole lot this season, which is more of a 5-2-4. What do you think?
Well, Brad Holmes is a positional villain, when it comes to players. And I was on the interwebs the last couple days. We signed Jamal Adams, and everyone in all the chat groups and everything is talking about how they think that the Lions aren't going to use him primarily at safety, but they might use him more at linebacker.
Oh, interesting.
And I thought that was very interesting. And Adams is a 3-time Pro Bowler, and he was the number 6 pick in the first round of the draft in 2017. He played in 3 games with the Tennessee Titans this year before asking for his release in October. He was granted his release, and he spent the previous 4 seasons with the Seattle Seahawks. The guy's good. I remember when he came out, all you did was hear his name. And for a lot of the seasons, all you heard was his name. And then I come to find out he was with the Saints, I believe, for a couple of years. And that's where AG kind of got to know him. So he's got familiarity with the coaching staff. And I believe he's going to fit right in as soon as he gets acclimated to Detroit, maybe gets back into game shape. Time to go.
So the one thing that I missed is, all right, where did he come from? So the Titans released him in October, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Now he wanted that release, so he asked to be released, and then he signed. So he signed with the Titans in July after he was released by the Hawks, and then he was released by the Titans in October per his request. So he only played a total of 20 snaps in 3 games, and I think that was more to, you know, maybe what the Titans were doing or you know, what their defense was trying to do. I don't know why you don't play Jamal Adams. So he obviously felt that he had more to offer and more to offer a different team. If, you know, look, he's been around 8 seasons. It's not like he's way past his prime. You know, he's still fairly young. Yeah, he's a veteran of 8 seasons, but that doesn't mean that he's, you know, still not a good player. So anyway, veteran of 8 seasons, Adams selected 6th overall, like you said, by the Jets in 2017. 3 seasons with New York, handful of seasons with the Seahawks, then the Titans. Seahawks traded for him in 2020. And they sent 2 first-round picks to the Jets for Adams. So does that tell you something?
Wow.
2 first-round picks for Adams. So you know that this guy's got it. And then I think the most important thing here is what's in his head, right? And how can he help our guys develop even that much more? So a guy like Terry and Arnold, huge sponge, right? He's going to be a big-time sponge from Jamal Adams. Just listen, watch, learn from what Jamal does. There's a reason why he's one of the better guys in the league, man. Different position, sure, but that doesn't mean that, you know, DB is a DB is a DB. He's still got to learn the same techniques. He's 29 years old. So he's made 3 Pro Bowls, 3 straight Pro Bowls. And he set a record for defensive backs with 9.5 sacks. And he hasn't recorded a sack since then, though. 9.5 sacks. He had that in 1 season. You believe that?
Wow.
It's crazy.
As a DB.
As a DB.
Whew.
So
he knows how to get in,
yeah,
stop the run. He knows how to get in, crash down in the box. Yeah.
So any updates on Pascal and Levi? We'll get to it. There's really not much going on here.
No, Dan yesterday said that there's a chance both of them could play Thursday, but he's not very optimistic.
Well, Pascal's injury, it's not really deemed serious at this point, which is good news, right? I mean, that's huge news. So
he's the one that may play on Thursday.
He's going to require some rehab, you know, at least a little bit of rehab. It isn't believed to be season ending. I doubt he plays on Thursday. I doubt it. I think that would be foolish. I think that the Lions know that. They're not going to just, you know, come out and say he's out right now. They want the Packers to prep for him, right? They want to make sure that they're prepped for who's going to be in and who's going to be out, and they're going to keep it a mystery. They don't have to designate anything yet. I guarantee you, I'm not going to guarantee you, highly likely Pascal doesn't play. So if he requires rehab, I don't know how you're going to rehab in a week. Mm-hmm. And you know, number one, but number two, we need him for the end of the season run. Losing 1 game is not going to hurt us. It'll make things really close and really tight, but it's not going to hurt us overall. So well, just remember, it's overall wins first. Yes. We just need 1 more win or a half of a win more than anybody else. That's all we need. It's all we need.
All right. I got to say something, though.
Sure.
Are you ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
Being a lifelong Lions fan all my life, Lions have been trash all my life, right? So what games hurt the most? The Packer game.
Oh, yeah.
So to me, the 2 Packer games are my Super Bowl every year. And I always say, The only thing I want to do is sweep the Packers every year. We can sweep the Packers every year. To me, that's a successful season. Whether we make the playoffs or don't make the playoffs, my mindset has always been destroy the Packers twice and everything else will work itself out. So there's a few things about the Packers here. Right now, they're a 99% chance to make the playoffs. If they were to win this game, they go from 1% chance to win the NFC North to 10% chance to win the NFC North. And they go from an 80 to a 90% chance to make the playoffs if they lose this game and win one other game. So all they have to do is win one other game, basically, and they're in. That'll get them to 10 wins. So let them beat the Bears or somebody else. I don't care. They have to play the Vikings and the Bears still. Their schedule is pretty tough. And let me see. So the Packers have to play the Seahawks after us, the Saints, the Vikings, and then the Bears. And tell me the Bears don't want some revenge at the end of the year and wouldn't mind stopping the Packers from being the, I don't know, number 5 seed or the number 1 seed. Yeah, they'd love to stop them. So
yes, I want to talk about all the playoff scenarios here after Quan. So we'll do that after we dig into Quan, because there's a lot of interesting things going on here. You know, especially with what happened yesterday. But I'll say this. I'll just say this before we get into Quan Alexander. The Vikings are frauds. I'm sorry. They are frauds.
Yeah. Well,
and I don't care who they play. They've been frauds for years, and they're still frauds today. They came back yesterday, and I couldn't bear watch it. I knew it was going to happen.
Oh yeah, I knew it the whole time.
It was the fourth quarter was just shaping up to be like, okay, this is going to happen, and then I turned it off. Like I just turned it off.
The ends of like 4 or 5 games. Yeah, this week, like the end of the Lions game, the end of the Chiefs game, the end of the Vikings game. You just knew it was going to happen. You knew it.
Yeah. Elizabeth LaValle, appreciate your fight. Cancer warriors, cancer survivors is what Rocked On Cancer Foundation is all about. So we are with you on your fight. Just keep fighting a good fight. Appreciate you sharing that information with us this morning.
She put something in the chat about she's hoping she wins some free recliners. She bought some recliners, and if the Lions, I think, win the Super Bowl, then she gets free recliners. So let's go. That's
cool. Yeah, there was that company that always does that. They always say if the Lions win the Super Bowl, that something happens. I don't remember what it is. I'll have to look it up.
Gardner White. And those companies, what they do is they take out a big insurance policy against it. So if it happens, they still make money.
Yeah. That's the crazy thing. So Quan Alexander, let's get into the last guy that the Lions brought in. May not be the last guy. Now, this is a little bit of a long segment here. I mean, not incredibly, but it's fairly long. So this guy has always been a winner. Like, always been a winner. I love the fact that we brought in Quan Alexander. This guy is going to be able to do some damage. He's already said he's ready to go to war for the Lions. In high school, Alexander missed most of his 2011 senior campaign with a knee injury after posting 144 tackles, 17 sacks, and 6 forced fumbles with 3 recoveries as a junior in 2010. As a junior, he put up those numbers. Wow. He was chosen as a finalist for the High School Buckus Award. He was given annually to the nation's top linebacker. He was also named to the 2011 ESPN All-Alabama football team and was a Class 6A, it's a big school, All-State football team honorable mention, which, I mean, going up against the biggest schools, that's a lot of football athletes, a lot of football players and athletes that he's going up against. He attended LSU from 2012 to 2014 as a true freshman. He played in 7 games with 2 starts with 12 tackles, and then as a sophomore, he started 9 of the 13 games, finished the season with 65 tackles. And then as a junior, he led the team with 92 tackles, 1.5 sacks. And after his junior season, he decided to enter the 2015 NFL draft. Now, he was one of 33 linebackers to enter the draft, right, or to go through the scouting combine at least. where he completed all of the necessary drills and finished second. Out of all linebackers, he finished second in the 40-yard dash, sixth in the bench press and short shuttle, and ninth in the three-cone. He was ranked as the second best outside linebacker prospect in the NFL draft by Charles Davis. He was ranked the sixth best outside linebacker in the NFL draft by NFLDraftScout.com. And he was ranked the seventh best linebacker by Matt Miller of NFLDraftScout.com. In the 2015 draft, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers selected Alexander 124th in the fourth round. And that was after the Bucs moved up to take him. He was the 11th linebacker drafted in 2015. So I don't know how he slid from being the second overall, or the sixth overall, or even the ninth overall, all the way down to 11th linebacker taken. But he quickly made an impact. His speed, his aggressive playmaking ability were very evident from the start in Tampa in 2015. So he entered the training camp in 2015. He competed for a job as he started strong side linebacker against Danny Lanzana. And after performing fairly well, he was then moved to middle linebacker. And he competed for a role starting next to Bruce Carter. Head coach Lovie Smith at the time named Alexander the starting middle linebacker as a rookie alongside Lavonte David and Lanzana. Now, Alexander finished his rookie here with 93 combined tackles, 59 solo, 9 pass deflections, 3 sacks, and 2 interceptions in 12 games and 12 starts. He was named to the PFWA All-Rookie team. In 2016, he started the season opener at the Falcons and recorded 17 combined tackles and a sack in that victory. 2 weeks later, he made 7 combined tackles and returned an interception off of Case Keenum, 38 yards for his first NFL touchdown. And that was a loss, though, to that team. It was a loss to whoever Case Keenum was playing that year. And then week 8, Alexander recorded a season high 14 solo tackles and broke up a pass. That was an overtime loss to the Raiders. And then week 15, he recorded a career high, get this, 21 combined tackles, 11 solo. Again, in a loss, though. The Bucs couldn't find a way to win. Alexander finished his second professional season ranked fourth in the league in tackles with 145. He also had 7 pass deflections, 3 sacks, and an interception in 16 games. He earned an overall PFF grade of 77.3, which was the most improved second-year player ever for PFF. In 2017, Alexander finished third with 97 tackles, 4 pass deflections, and a career-high 3 interceptions in 12 games and starts. And then in January, he was named to his first Pro Bowl. And then he replaced the injured Seattle Seahawks middle linebacker Bobby Wagner. But it was 2018 when things kind of started to wobble a little bit for him. The wheels just kind of started to flutter a little bit. Alexander started the first 6 games of the season before suffering an ACL injury in week 7. He was placed on injured reserve in October of that season. He finished his season with 45 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 pass deflections, and a sack in 6 games that season. Injury troubles kind of continued. Unfortunately, a torn ACL in 2018 had derailed him, right? Derailed his trajectory. But since then, he's really battled various injuries and played for multiple teams. The 49ers, the Saints, the Jets, the Steelers. And while he's known for his flashes, of his old self from time to time, consistency has kind of been an issue for Quan. But, I guess it depends on who's watching, right? And what you're seeing. In 2019 with the 49ers, he was signed to a 4-year, $54 million contract. Week 1, he went after Jameis Winston with a helmet-to-helmet hit. Prior to being ejected, though, he made 3 tackles. And then in the next game against Cincinnati, he recorded his first interception of the season off Andy Dalton. And then in week 7 against the Redskins, he forced a fumble on Adrian Peterson. And then 2 weeks later against Arizona Cardinals, he left the eventual 28-25 road victory with an apparent chest injury. The next day, though, Alexander was diagnosed with a torn pec, and then he was placed on injured reserve. So back-to-back rough seasons as far as injuries. He did come back, though. He helped the 49ers defeat both the Vikings and the Packers to advance to the Super Bowl, where he recorded a tackle and a pass deflection in the loss to the Kansas City Chiefs in that Super Bowl. And then 2020 through 21, he was a Saint. He was traded to the Saints in exchange for a 5th-round pick and, get this, Kiko Alonso. Pretty good player, Kiko was. So the Saints obviously got a good deal there. He was named a starter in Week 10, started the next 7 games before suffering yet again another torn Achilles in Week 16, placed on injured reserve December 28. He was then released by the Saints in March of next year during the new league year, and on August 3rd, the Saints actually brought him back and signed him to a 1-year deal, and then he was placed again on injured reserve in September of that year with an elbow injury. He was activated on October 25th, and then his contract was up the next league year. Why am I saying all this? So injuries kind of followed him the last couple of years, and I don't really think it's going to impact him a ton. But just last season with the Steelers, he suffered yet again another torn Achilles in November. It was just November, a couple days ago. He's only a year out from this Achilles injury, and he's already played a few games this season. So far this season, on November 2, Week 9, against the Titans, he made the game-sealing interception against Will Levis. And then on November 12, against the Packers, that is when he suffered the torn Achilles. And so now he's back. The Denver Broncos brought him back on the practice squad this season. He saw action in 3 games this year. He had 8 tackles and a forced fumble, and now he's a Detroit Lion. So a lot about Quan Alexander's past and where he's been and what he's doing. He's had 7 major injuries in his career. But I still think that Quan Alexander is going to be a player that really slots in immediately. He's got history with Dan Campbell and Aaron Glenn. He knows this defense. The terminology, like Dan said, might be a little bit different, but the stylistic, component to this defense and what he's used to is fairly the same. So I think that he's going to be someone that can help us right away. I'm just a little worried about the injury concerns here and his age that go along with it. 3 Achilles injuries in a career, that's usually career ending. But he's back. I think that tells you something. The fact that he's come back from 3 of them tells you the kind of player and person that he is. So what did you have? And big shout out to Roger Orlowski for gifting Alliance membership this morning. But Eric, what did you have on Quan this morning?
Well, I'm just looking right now. The Broncos had the number 3 overall defense. I'm just looking for their scoring defense here. Trying to find where scoring was. But, they have the number 3 overall defense in total. And that tells me they're doing pretty good. I think the guy is going to be a Malcolm Rodriguez type player once he gets up to speed with us. And basically he's the Rodrigo replacement, and he's going to have to do some playing until Alex gets back. Because Anzalone is coming back. It's just going to be a few more weeks.
Yeah, and bringing in a guy like Quan, I mean, he can help hold it down. I mean, I think that, we're down to Jack, Ben, and Trevor, which, look, that's a good 3. I mean, they've been around this defense. They've played a lot of ball, but look, Trevor is still susceptible to, I don't know, how do I say it? He's susceptible to trickery, I guess, if you will. And sometimes he bites down a little bit too quick on the RPO. And that's what I worry about with Trevor is the RPO and him getting caught up, where he's biting down a little bit too hard. And then next thing you know, the ball just goes around him. So that is my one concern with the linebacker group right now. I'm not concerned about Jack. I'm not concerned about Jack and his leadership and the fact that, he's really playing well. Eric, in the beginning of the season, we had put out something. I don't remember what it was, but we put out who was going to get 150 plus tackles this year. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah. Either Jack Campbell or Alex Anzalone.
Are we even close?
I'm not sure.
I haven't checked their total tackle stats yet, but we thought if there was an opportunity for it to be one of those guys.
Yeah, we were both thinking that Jack Campbell was going to have a breakout year this year, and he is.
Which he is. He absolutely is. He's having a great season. Not sure where Barnes is on his rehab. I'll dig into more of that stuff probably, I don't know, Thursday-ish, Friday-ish or something. We'll kind of get some ideas of where things are, but there's just not a ton that's being reported right now.
Last I heard, he was not coming back this year.
Yeah. Which could be the case for a few guys. We did see, Aiden Hutchinson is up and walking around. That's great that he's weight bearing right now. I'm sure he's in a full air cast and probably had I think he was in a regular shoe during the game, but he's probably still in a full air cast underneath that, under his jeans or whatever.
Yeah, he walked into the stadium for Thanksgiving.
That's huge, right?
Yep.
It's huge. It doesn't mean that he's coming back, though. It
No,
doesn't mean that he's coming back.
One thing is, though, within the next couple of weeks, he's going to be able to stand on the sideline as soon as he can, defend himself from getting hit from someone.
Yeah, I don't know if he does that, though. Do you think he's really going to do that? I think he's pretty comfortable up in the box.
Wait. Yeah, Dan Campbell said he can't wait to have him back on the sideline.
Yeah,
So,
I think what he means there is playing.
well, yeah. No, he was talking about just having him down on the sideline, being able to watch from the sideline.
That'd be great. I would just fear for these guys. You see these crazy things that happen, all weekend long with guys flying off into the, into the sideline. You'd hate to see something like that happen.
Yeah, refs and everybody else getting hit. And
you'd almost have to stand behind the bench,
Then you got guys like the Bears guy that came from back in the bench all the way to the very edge of where they're allowed to stand to trip Jameson Williams and spit on him before or do a loogie at him.
I didn't see any of that. So I watched all the videos back and forth. I didn't see any of that.
Oh yeah, it's there. Listen, where I was sitting was a direct view right at it. And I'm just like, I thought they were going to throw the flag on that guy. And then I didn't see Jameson throw the ball into his face. I didn't see that part of it. I saw the first part of it where he tripped him. And I'm like, hey, you watch him. He purposely walked up from the back of the bench right to the edge, put his foot out and pushed him. Oh God. I hope he gets a fine from the NFL for doing that, because he didn't have to walk up there. He should have just stayed back where he was. But that's my 2 cents on the whole thing. I'm not trying to make excuses for JMO either. He should have just gave the ref the ball and walked back to the thing and hope for the other team to get a flag. That's what he needs to do.
Yeah, I see the trip. I just, now that I see it from this angle, I see the trip where Tyreek Stevenson did it, but I didn't see the spitting.
Yeah, watch. He puts his arm up to his nose and goes, He shot a snot rocket at him.
I don't know.
Watch his hand. Goes right up to his nose.
I see it, but I don't know. I don't see that. I don't see that.
Asking me something here.
So anyway, what's up, Hostage 42? Did you say something that I missed? Or are you just saying hi?
Hey, Will, there's a question. Roger Olowski gifted a membership, and he's wondering how he can gift a membership to his son.
So you can't. That's the problem. The only way you could is give your son your credit card number and say, go on YouTube.
Okay.
They're all random. So they're 100% random. YouTube just kind of picks and chooses who they are. So that's 230 members this morning. Big shout out to Roger for gifting a membership to somebody. I didn't see who got it, but anyway. So that's it. Brad Holmes, very, very busy. Roster is reloaded for the rest of the season. I expect him to stay very active, and I expect teams to start playing the protection game right now. They're going to start moving guys around. If you haven't noticed, there's been some teams that have been, bringing guys up to the active roster for whatever reason, but teams are going to be a little bit smarter right now. And hey, here's a question. Eric, do you think that there's relationships in the NFL that, you've got certain teams that obviously aren't going to make the playoffs?
Yeah.
And you wonder if, Dan or Brad picks up the phone or anybody and says, hey, I could really use that guy. Is there any way you could send him down to the practice squad? We'll help you out next year somehow, but we could really use that guy. If you're not planning on bringing him back next year, we could really use him. Do you think any of that really exists in the NFL?
Oh, yes. And listen, being a GM in the NFL is all about relationships and building relationships with other GMs and other teams to be able to move guys and bring in guys, move up and down in the draft. And Brad Holmes is a genius. And it's not just for who he picks, it's how he picks them and how he gets them and attains them. So if he has a good working relationship with the Dallas Cowboys, he can pull off a trade in the first round to move up to get Terrion Arnold. If he doesn't have that relationship, he can't do that.
I think we overpaid. I think we a little overpaid, and
we did.
Dallas wanted their, what should have been probably one round lower of a pick, but
yeah, but they didn't.
No, let me say that again. We overpaid then. We didn't overpay for Terrion. Yes. There's no price that I would give up right now for Terrion because the guy is going to be excellent. He's going to be one of the best corners in this league. And we don't talk enough about Terrion on this channel, and we need to tomorrow. So tomorrow we need to talk more about Terrion Arnold because this guy deserves some flowers right now for just what he's been battling through and how good he's really been playing despite the penalties. So we'll highlight Terrion tomorrow. I think that there's a lot to be said there about what he's doing right now.
And I watched the Snow Bowl last night with Quinyon Mitchell, and he didn't do anything to impress me last night.
He's been playing very well this season.
He has been, but last night he did not play the best.
He's been playing very well. So it's like you almost couldn't pick him wrong, if you took Quinyon Mitchell or Terrion Arnold. I mean, I think both guys, I think Quinnon's going to be excellent. I was a little shy on Quinnon because of Toledo, but you know what? It's guys like that break the mold, right? They kind of set up the future for other guys, and of course the NFL's been doing this for years, decades of grabbing guys from lower tiered colleges, but he didn't really have a ton of experience against, top athletes, if you will. They're all great athletes, but D1 is a big difference. And going up against, big time D1 receivers is a big difference of what he went up against. So there was that side of it that I think kind of shied people away, like myself, away from Quinnon. But now looking back at it, I don't think you could have went wrong.
I'll say this too. So like Quinyon Mitchell, I loved the kid. I liked him better than Terrion coming out of the draft, just like the Eagles did. They were 1A, 1B for me. But the thing I liked about Quinyon Mitchell is during the last day of the combine that I stuck around for, he came up and he was like 2 feet away from me, and I talked to him for just a quick second, and all these kids come up to him and they all want an autograph for him. And he turns around and starts signing all this stuff for kids. And I got a little reel of it. And I thought that was the coolest thing. He sat there and signed all the stuff for every kid until all the kids had something signed by him. So I thought that was really cool. He didn't have to do that. He could have just kept walking and kept going. He didn't have to stop and do that for all those kids at the combine. And, I thought that was really cool. That was a Dan Campbell kind of guy that sticks around and does it for the kids. So I thought that was pretty cool.
All right, we're coming up on the halfway point of the show, so you guys cannot forget we've got a new sponsor for a while, and that's C3 Mitts. And so C3 Mitts by Better Hunt Technologies is a veteran-owned and designed hunting mitt company. Okay, bows, rifles, crossbows, you name it. I don't care if you're a golfer, if you're out picking rocks with Eric, there's a mitt for you at c3mitts.com. So as an outdoor enthusiast myself, these things are going to come in perfect timing. I mean, one for the season, out snow blowing, get your multi-mitts today. They're only 2 for $75. Free shipping is included. And then, of course, on Multi-Mitt Mondays, somebody is going to win a pair of multi-mitts today. And then all you have to do is email the winner. Will just have to email Better the Hunt Technologies, and they're going to send it to you direct. I don't have to do the shipping, thankfully. But C3 mitts are windproof. They're waterproof. They are tear resistant, and they come with 200 grams of 3M Thinsulate inside. This is the crossbow mitt. It attaches right to the crossbow, and there's some unique information that I would love to share with you, but I want you to visit c3mitts.com and read up all about these mitts, because this will actually keep your fingertips away from the string. So when the bolt flies, it'll keep your fingertips away from it, which has been a safety factor for a long time with crossbows. But even with your regular bow, this keeps your hand on the bow. So, you know, the hand that you've been practicing with all summer, whether you're at the range with a rifle, a crossbow, whatever, you still get to use that same hand. It is not covered up with some big gaudy glove. Your hand just goes inside this, right? It just slides right inside, and you're still touching, the same unit that you've been touching all season. So get your mitts today, c3mitts.com. Special advertised price for you guys right now. These are $49.95 a piece, and right now they include free shipping, and it's 2 for $75. And oh, by the way, if you put in Rocked On, there's a little note section in there. If you put in Rocked On, you're going to get a free multi-mitt with your purchase today. So check it out, C3 Mitts. You know you have a hunter in your family. You know you have somebody that could utilize these things. Check out a local veteran-owned company today, c3mitts.com. Get your multi-mitts, rifle mitts, crossbow mitts, whatever they are. But someone's going to win multi-mitts today, and we're going to do that by the end of the show. So stick around. We'll be selecting somebody to win a multi-mitt. All right, what's next here is playoff predictor. So we had a wild weekend. Another wild weekend. We were talking about the Vikings. I thought the game was going to be won when they had about a 14-point lead. And then I was like, okay, they scored. It's getting a little closer. And then I'm just watching what the Vikings are doing and what the Cardinals were not. I'm like, they're going to win this game. They're going to come back and win this damn game. And they were so close to losing. And we really needed just a breath, man. Just a little bit of breathing room. And we couldn't get it. Especially when we have all these, injuries and we're up against it this week and we're turning right around and playing, the Packers have been playing pretty well lately at home. Would have been nice if the Lions could have been breathing a little bit easier this week, but they're not. And they're going to have to stay ready. So right now your Lions are the 1 seed. Here's what I'm worried about, Eric. I'm worried about the Eagles. Here's why I'm worried about the Eagles.
Yep.
Have you seen the rest of their roster or the rest of their schedule?
Yes, I have.
And their schedule is not looking very hard.
No.
If they lose one game out of the next 5, I would be surprised. So they've got the Steelers. That is going to be the game that I feel that they could lose. They've got the Commanders. That is a game I feel that could be contentious. But again, the Commanders haven't been the same Commanders they were, the first half of the season. So there's only 2 games with potential losses. So let's just say, we'll do playoff predictor. Let's just say, should I bring in the playoff predictor or should I just do it? Should I just bring it in? Show everybody what I'm looking at here?
Sure.
All right, let me do that. 1 second.
So I have a little update while you're doing that. The Super Bowl odds came out after last night's game, and the Detroit Lions now have the best odds to win the Super Bowl at plus 290. And guess who is in second place right behind us at plus 475?
Hold on, I see Peter in the chat. So Peter, I think that I got your address, but do me a favor. Send me your address to mailbag@rockdown.com so I can make sure that you get what you got coming to you. I think that's it. I don't think I've seen anybody else in there. All right, and then as far as Rakestraw goes, he's on IR, so he'll be back in 4 weeks potentially.
Yeah. So the Super Bowl odds, the Detroit Lions are at plus 290, followed right on their heels by the Philadelphia Eagles at plus 475. Then it goes to the Chiefs and the Bills at plus 500 each. The NFC is favored to win the Super Bowl this year, either the Lions or the Eagles. And I am guessing the Lions versus the Eagles is going to be the NFC Championship game. The only question is it going to be in Detroit, which is the hardest place in the NFL to play? Or is it going to be in Philly in a friggin' Snow Bowl like last night in January? I don't want Goff going to Philadelphia in January playing in a Snow Bowl. I don't want that whatsoever. I want the Lions to be playing at home in Ford Field with no issues whatsoever.
All right, so I'll be Debbie Downer for a minute.
Mm-hmm. Don't say we lose to the Pack and I'll be happy.
I'll be Debbie Downer for just a minute, and here's what I'm going to say. If the Lions do not secure a 1 seed, you can forget about the Super Bowl. I'm sorry. I do not see a path as a 5th seed that makes any sense for the Lions having to travel. And the only reason why is because of what's gone on with our defense and the injuries. I just don't see it. And I'm not losing faith in my Lions or anything like that, but it is going to be extremely difficult to win 4 games or 3 games to get to the Super Bowl on the road. Extremely difficult. Now, we are a road team. We do win a lot of road games, but it is an extremely difficult road to hoe with a defense that has lost half of its players and like 50% of its starters. Just can't do it. Very, very difficult. Now, if we get Alex Anzalone back, I'll feel a little bit better. Feel a lot better. If Josh Paschal stays healthy for the rest of the season, I'll feel better. But who else are we really going to get back? I mean, Rakestraw, yeah, he'll be back, but he hasn't really helped us out. Carlton Davis will be back. He has to stay healthy for the rest of the season. If we're without Carlton Davis, if we're without a guy like Paschal or Anzalone or a combination, I just don't see it. I think that the teams are way too difficult that we're going to have to face. That's why we need the 1 seed right now. We didn't need the 1 seed for any other reason before than we deserved it and we were earning it, right? We were winning. That's the only reason why the 1 seed was going to be ours, is because we were just dominating everybody. But now we're at this crossroad of, damn, we've lost a lot of players. Could you imagine if we lose anybody on the offensive line? Or, I mean, it would just be, the season could just come tumbling. And I could hear it now from everybody. They're going to call us frauds because we lost players to injury.
They already are.
When that's not the case. You know what I mean? But yeah. I just don't want to see the season come tumbling down because of injury. Like, that is, it is just, it's been gut-wrenching, man. It's been gut-wrenching, not only for the players because of what they've done this season. It's just gut-wrenching to think that if injuries derail this team, did we really get rid of the curse? I don't know.
Yeah. To me, this is the biggest game of the season. This is it. This is the one game we have to win because.
Well, let's see. Let's see what the playoff machine says.
Well, Ed O'Neill says in the chat. Well, he did a couple super chats. He says the Lions' number 1 seed hopes lie on the Green Bay game. If you lose that game, you lose the common opponent tiebreaker to the Eagles. It's the game with the most impact. And then he says Lions must beat Green Bay to control their destiny. And I believe that. They have to beat Green Bay. We have to win this to get the number 1 seed.
Well, we beat Green Bay, though.
Yes, but we have to beat them again.
Well, Eagles didn't play him twice.
No, they played them once.
So I think that's only worth half of a common opponent. I don't think it's a whole point.
But we would have the same record at 11-2 if we lost this week and the Eagles win against the Panthers this week, which that is going to happen. The Panthers are going to lose to the Eagles.
I don't know. The Panthers have been playing kind of tough lately. They've been playing spoilers.
Yeah. And they went toe to toe with the Bucks last night. Holy crap. Went to overtime. And the Lions play the Packers. Okay. If we both are at 11-2 after today, the Eagles would have the number 1 seed.
Hold on here. Let me do this real quick.
All right.
Before we do playoff predictor, let me come back here for a minute. Let's read the rules for just a second. Okay. Let's read the playoff seeding rules. So, all right, how are teams seeded? So number 1, each league uses the same seeding format. So the number 1 seed is the best record in the NFC or the AFC. That's everyone knows that.
Yep.
Number 2 seed, second best, third, all the way down. It's third best, fourth best, fifth best, all the way down. Okay. How do you select a team based on record? So breaking ties in a division, what are the division tie breakers? Okay. Number 1, it goes head to head. So it's the best one loss tied percentage in games between clubs. So if we don't face the Eagles this season, which we don't,
Yep.
then that goes away. So head to head's out. Or I'm sorry, this is division. Hold on. Not conference. I need the conference one. Where's the conference one? Okay. Breaking ties for wild card teams. So this has to be the conference one. So if more than 2 teams are from the same division, you eliminate all but the highest ranked club in each division using the divisional tiebreakers, which again, if we go back to divisional tiebreakers, it's head to head. Then it's the best one loss tied percentage in games played within the division. So it goes your division record. And then it's best one loss tied percentage in common games. So common games is number 3. So I'm not too worried about common games just yet. As far as conference goes, so when you're doing the seeding component to this, it goes, you eliminate, all of the teams that all but the highest, one loss tied record. So if you're 11-1 and they're 10-1 or 10-2, then you've got the best record you're in, right? If you're 11-1, they're 11-1, and another team's 11-1, then you have to go to head to head. Who has the best head to head? And then you go to the best one loss tied percentage of games played in the conference. So for the Lions and the Eagles, it's going to go to the conference schedule. So how many wins do we have in the conference versus they have in the conference, right? And then it goes to best one loss tied percentage in common games. So common games is number 4 in deciding the seeding, minimum of 4. So you have to have a minimum of 4 games in common. So if you don't have 4 games in common, they don't go to that rule. It goes to strength of victory, then strength of schedule, which it never gets that deep. If it goes past number 4, then we're in the weeds. And number 12 is a coin toss. We definitely don't want to go there. So it goes head to head, and then it's best one loss tied percentage in the conference. And then it goes best one loss tied percentage in common games, minimum of 4 games. So it'll be interesting. So just clear that up a little bit.
Should come down to point differential.
Yeah, right. We'd be good there. As a matter of fact, it might be in here. Hold on. Yeah, it's in here. So it's best net points in all games is number 10.
Well, we got them if we get down to 10.
And it's best net points in common games at number 9. So yeah, we could be there. Who knows?
Yeah.
You just don't want to get that far.
They only beat the Packers by 3, so we beat them by what, 10? So yeah, we'd have them there.
I don't know. All right, playoff predictor. Here we go. Playoff predictor Monday. So as you can see, the Lions are your number 1 seed right now. Here, let me just blow this up a little bit.
Yep.
There we go. All right. So what week are we in? I guess we're in
You were week 13, right?
well, is there a Monday night game tonight?
Yeah.
Where is it? Browns and Broncos tonight?
Yep.
Broncos. There we go. All right, week 14. I'm going to leave the Lions in Green Bay till last. Saints in New York. We'll roll the Saints. Pittsburgh and the Browns. We'll roll Pittsburgh. I do not see the Vikings beating the Falcons, but you just never know.
Falcons just imploded. Kirk Cousins threw 4 interceptions the other day.
That's Kirk, though. He does that at least once a year.
Yep. So is this a makeup game and a revenge game against the Vikings? And they're going to the Vikings, a stadium he's very comfortable in, but they're going to be really loud against him.
Yeah. Something tells me the Falcons defense, though, is not going to put up with the shenanigans of this Vikings offense.
Yeah. So tell me this. is are the fans, the Vikings, are they going to cheer Kirk Cousins when he comes home? Kind of like people wanted us to cheer for Matt Stafford when he came back home.
Right.
That's what I want to know. That's the biggest storyline of that game for me.
Probably not in this situation.
Yeah, I'm guessing that he's going to get some boos when he comes.
I don't know. Someone's got to let us know.
They're not going to play a highlight video of when he was with the Vikings for the fans before the game. He's not going to get a big warm welcome when he comes back. Come on.
I'm going to take the Bears over the 49ers. Christian McCaffrey just went down yesterday. I think the 49ers are going to start their little end of the season implosion too.
Yeah.
We'll take the Bengals.
Kyle Shanahan this morning said that Christian McCaffrey is done for the season.
Yeah, we'll take the Bengals over the Cowboys. I'm going to take the Chargers over the Chiefs. I'm going to take the Bears over the 49ers. I'm going to take Matthew Stafford over the Bills.
Wouldn't that be nice?
And then I'm going to take the Cardinals or the Seahawks. I really don't care. I'd rather see the Cardinals in versus the Seahawks. So I'm going to put the Cardinals in.
So
Dolphins over the Jets, Titans over the Jags, Eagles over the Panthers, Bucks over the Raiders, Falcons over the Vikings, Pittsburgh over the Browns, Saints over the Giants, and now it's the Lions and the Packers. Let's just say we drop this game.
Boom, see?
That's just 1 week.
Yeah.
Let's go to week 15. We'll do LA over San Fran. That's a possibility. The Ravens over the Giants. That should happen. The Jets over the Jags. Why not? Cowboys over the Panthers. Probably, but you know what? The Panthers will win that game. Washington over the Saints. More than likely. Bengals over the Titans. Chiefs over the Browns. It's going to be a tough game for the Chiefs, but we'll see what's going on there. That game could go either way.
Yeah.
The Browns always pull out a tough game somewhere. Dolphins and Texans. I'm going to roll Texans. We'll go Browns and the Broncos and the Colts. We'll roll the Broncos. Cardinals over the Patriots. Chargers over the Bucks. We're going to go Steelers over the Eagles.
There we go.
In Philly. Packers over the Seahawks. Not happening. We'll say that the Bears beat up the Vikes.
Oh, that'd be nice.
We need it. And we'll take the Raiders over the Falcons. Now you've got 2 games left. You've got 1 game left. You've got the Bills and the Lions.
See, the thing about the Bills, when we're playing them, they have their division locked up.
Yep.
And if the Chiefs drop a couple games, they might have the number 1 seed locked up before they even play us.
So
because we're playing a night, we're a 4:00 game right now, but they're talking about making us either Sunday night or Monday night for that Bills game.
So I'm going to go ahead and say that we drop to the Bills. Let's say we drop the next 2 games. Just play along. We'll see what happens.
You're trying to put me in a bad mood on a Monday.
Hey, look, we got to roll through the scenarios. That's what it's all about. We're just rolling through the scenarios. All right, we'll take the Chargers over the Broncos. I don't know if I believe that. I'll take the Texans over the Chiefs. I do believe that. Ravens and Steelers. I think that the Steelers are going to hold out. You know, look, the Ravens didn't look great yesterday.
No.
They did not look great at all.
I think the Ravens were kind of frauds. They fooled everybody having Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson looked like absolute dog crap yesterday. They put pressure on him. He looked uncomfortable in the pocket. He did not take off when he needed to take off, and his arm was off.
Well, yeah, that's what happens. You know, like I've always said, it doesn't, you know, you got a mobile quarterback doesn't mean that they're going to be able to throw with accuracy on the run all the time. And that's what you saw yesterday. And that was just 1 game. So I'm not going to call them a fraud over 1 game though.
No, but listen, they're what, 8-5 now? 8-4?
9-5.
9-5.
Yeah, they're still in it. They're still in it. All right, we'll take the Bengals over the Browns. I'm going to take the Titans over the Colts again. We'll take the Lions over the Bears. We'll take the Vikings over Seahawks, which I don't think that's going to happen.
That might be a tough one for them.
Oh, I'm taking the Seahawks. That's in Seattle. We'll take the Raiders over the Panthers or Jaguars. I don't know if anyone's going to be back for San Francisco. Look, I'll take San Francisco over the Dolphins right now, just to give them one game.
I don't think the 49ers win another game.
They might not. I mean, they've won without Christian McCaffrey, so the Bucs over the Cowboys, and we'll take Green Bay over the Saints. Who am I missing? So I got the Lions over the Bears. All right, Ravens and Steelers. I'm going to take the Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I think the Steelers they're coming to play. But we'll see. You know, that's in Baltimore. I'm taking Baltimore. I'm sorry. I'm taking Baltimore. All right, week 17. Steelers and Chiefs. What do you got?
I'm going to say Steelers.
All right, so I'm going to take the Eagles over the Cowboys. We're going to take the Raiders over the Saints. We'll take Green Bay over the Vikings. We'll take Tampa Bay. We'll take Tennessee. We'll take the Bills over the Jets. We'll take Colts over New York. Washington over Atlanta. Broncos over the Bengals. Chargers over the Pats. Ooh, that's a tough game. Seattle's definitely going to whoop up on the Bears. Texans over Baltimore. All right, so you're going to take the Steelers?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm going to give one back. I think if I give one back to the Chiefs.
All right, let's say the Chiefs pull it off.
Yeah, we'll just say they pull that one out because they've lost 2. Now we're into week 18. The Lions are 13-3, and they're tied with the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
We've got to get to 14-3. Week 18, that's where it matters, right? So if the Lions go 14-3 and we're tied, as long as the Eagles lose to the Giants, what's not going to happen, the Eagles are the 1 seed and we're down at the 2 seed.
Yep.
So that's if the Lions drop 2.
I'm going to say this. When's the last time the Detroit Lions dropped 2 games in a row?
We haven't in a long time.
Nope.
So if the Lions drop 2, that's where we're at. If the Lions win against the Bills, we're the 1 seed. If the Lions win against
Green
the Packers, we're the 1 seed. But that's given the Eagles a 14-3 record and the Lions a 15-2 record. So we have to maintain 1 game over top of them. I think it's going to be very tough to finish 15-2. Wasn't that your record for the season?
Yours was 14-3. Right. And listen, we cannot afford to lose a game for the rest of the year. We just can't.
Okay, so let's wind this back here. So the Eagles won.
This Packers game is more important than any game we have ever played in Ford Field. And I'm appealing to every Lions fan that is going to this game. There's going to be Packer fans there. I don't care. We need to be so loud and cause false starts and get Jordan Love off of his game, get some interceptions, get him back to throwing interceptions again. We need to do it this week. And those balls like last week that get tipped up in the air, we need to come down with them this week. There was 3 or 4 potential interceptions in that last game versus the Bears. We have to get them this week. We have to.
So, well, the good news is it won't be rainy. It won't be a monsoon in this game. Aaron Jones has been out of control, so it's not going to be an easy game. But here's what I'm going to say. The reason why I wanted to do this is because the Eagles have a very easy schedule. They got the Panthers in week 14.
Yep.
The Steelers is the toughest game on their schedule in week 15. And then they go against Washington. So we need to be rooting for the Steelers and the Commanders to win. And I have them winning on this predictor. And then in week 17, they go up against the Cowboys. We need the Cowboys to win somehow. If those 3 teams can win and we drop 2 games, we're still in.
Yeah. it sucks they play the Giants at the last game of the year because the Giants are already eliminated from contention and they've folded. They already got rid of their quarterback. They're horrible. They're not going to win another game. They're trying. They're literally trying to tank for that number 1 seed, so they can get their new quarterback.
Well, like I said, there's only 2 games on their schedule: the Commanders, and I keep looking back at it like, tell me there's another team in there that just happens to show up on their schedule. No,
Steelers,
it's the Steelers and the Commanders, man. That's it. That's it for the Eagles. The Panthers, yeah, did they play well? The last couple of weeks, sure. Does that mean that they're going to play well against the Eagles? No. So there's 2 games. There's 2 games that the Eagles could lose, and there's, gosh, I mean, you look at the Lions schedule. We go Packers, we go Bills, we go Bears, which I think will win again, and then out to San Fran. I mean, come on. Mm-hmm. And then back home against the Vikings. We have the toughest remaining schedule, I would say, out of anybody.
Yep.
This is why we, it was very important for us to be where we are right now, but it's also very important that we stay healthy.
And it makes it ultra important to win this Packer game. This Packer game is the most important game in regular season history at Ford Field.
I don't agree with that, but it's a big game. I don't think it's the most important ever. I mean, it's a big game just because it's the Packers, but
it's a division game. It's against the Packers, and it can help cement the number 1 seed. It's everything. This is.
But just remember, it doesn't matter who we win against. We just need 1 more win than the Eagles. That's it. It does not matter if it's division or conference or any of that. We just need 1 more win. So it's not the biggest. The biggest games on the schedule right now are not on our schedule. They're on the Eagles schedule.
Well, for me, it's the biggest. Listen, I'm so worked up about this game. I was worked up about this game as soon as the last game ended. I'm ready for Packer week. And
you just hate the Packers with a vengeance.
Listen, all of their fans, all they can talk about is coming into Ford Field last Thanksgiving and putting a whooping on us. And they talk about how they crushed us and blah, blah, blah. Yes, they came in the first play of the game and got the lead, and they never gave it up. I don't want to listen for the next year about them owning us in our house anymore. I'm done with it. We need a clean sweep of the Packers and keep that 1 game lead for the number 1 seed.
I say this every year we've got big games. For me, it's just the Lions finishing with at least 3 more wins. We have to have at least 3 more wins, no matter how we get them. We have to have, if we don't get at least 3 more wins, we do not have a shot at the 1 seed. That's why in the beginning of the season, I predicted the Lions to finish 14-3, and I said that 14-3 will win the 1 seed. But now, given the way that the Eagles' schedule is shaping up, 15 wins might be the 1 seed for the Lions.
Yep. And it has to be, because the Eagles are going to go 14. Eagles are winning 14 games. Unless they have an absolute implosion, they are winning 14 games. This game means everything for the Packers or for the Lions to get the number 1 seed.
Yeah, let me do this. Let me have the Lions finish 14-3.
And listen, if we were to lose another game, okay, if I had to choose the game for the Lions to lose, it would be versus the Bills. The Bills would hurt the least because it's a non-conference game. And it's somebody that's probably going to the Super Bowl. So we'll see him again. So that one would hurt the least.
Yeah, see, I want to beat the Bills.
I do too, but I want to beat the Packers more.
Okay, so if both teams are 14-3, the Lions are still the 1 seed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just redid it. So if the Eagles beat Washington, let me re-roll this. So if in week 14 they lose to the Panthers, week 15 they lose to the Steelers.
Yep.
The Eagles lose to the Steelers. So week 14 they win, week 15 they lose, week 16
They'd have to
Eagles
lose.
win against the Commanders. Eagles win against the Cowboys. In week 18, they win against the Giants. They finished 14-3. If the Lions finish 14-3 and they, win, let's say that they lose to Green Bay.
Don't say that.
I'm just hold on. I want to roll through this. I mean, I got to finish week 18 here.
I just can't imagine a world where we lose this week. I can't do it. I'm putting the positive vibes out into the universe. Detroit Lions are going to beat the Packers for a clean sweep this year. We're going to sweep the Packers. We're going to sweep the NFC North. We're going to win the division back to back 2 times in a row, and we're going to have the number 1 seed. I'm putting it out there in the universe. Let's do it.
What game am I missing? Because it's telling me that the Lions, are 13-4. So what game am I missing? They lose there. They lose to the Bills. And they beat the Bears. And they beat the 49ers. And then they beat the Vikings. So, yeah, that's weird. If we're 14-3 and we lose to the Bills, then the Eagles get the 1 seed. But if we beat the Bills and we lose to the Vikings, we go back to the 2 seed. How is that even possible? What game is screwing this up for us?
Packer game.
No, can't be.
Eric needs Xanax. I can't calm down this week. Ain't happening. No way. Even my wife has already said she doesn't want to be around me if the Packers happen to win this week.
Okay, Dan Campbell.
I'm telling you, you think Dan Campbell would be in a bad mood? Nothing compared to me next week. I don't even know if I can be on.
Okay, so if we lose to the Bills, we beat the Packers, lose to the Bills, beat the Bears, beat the 49ers, lose to the Vikings, 14-3, Lions of the 1 seed.
Okay.
Let's go lose to the Vikings. Let's go lose to, we could even win to the Vikings, lose to the 49ers, and we're still the 1 seed. So, Packers game it is.
We have to win this game.
So either we have one more win in the Eagles, and I haven't gone through all of their scenarios as far as the Eagles scenarios. If they were to lose or win to other teams, I could do this for hours and write down all the scenarios. But I'm not going to do that today.
So right now, the Lions are 3.5-point favorites. We opened up as 4.5-point favorites, with 80% of the bets being laid on your Detroit Lions. But 20% of the bets were laid on the Packers, and that's why it went from a 4.5 to a 3.5 favorite for the Lions. And the over-under is 51.5. I think it's going to go way over 51. Because I think the Lions are going to get back to scoring over 30 again. This is a Jared Goff get right game.
Jared Goff's been fine. I think Ben Johnson needs to get right.
Yeah, well, whatever it is, our offense is going to have an offensive explosion this week.
So according to Dan Campbell, he says the race is on ahead of this Lions and Packers game here on Thursday. So
he knows
the race is on. That's all they wrote. Was that it? No.
LaFleur had some comments this week too. He knows how important this game is.
Who keeps writing this crap? Mike Moratis? Like, I've completely lost confidence in this dude. A Lions $6 million starter predicted to cut ties with Detroit in favor of the Chiefs. Like, why do you write this crap? Why?
It's just fluff. I go right past that. That's like Nick Wright and Adam Rank and Peter, whatever his last name is. I can't stand either all of the three. If I see a podcast with any of them in it or a article with any of their names in it, I just skip right on by. I can't even. It's just garbage. All three of them are absolute garbage.
Well, I just don't know why. Like there's way more things to write about right now than talking about Kevin Zeitler potentially leaving next season to go to the Chiefs. Look, Kevin's going to be in his 11th season. May not play, but I highly doubt he's going to go to a different team unless, there's more money involved. He's making what, 10 million this year to say that he's going to make 6 million and go to the Chiefs. I mean, come on, get real. Get real. I don't think so. But there's way more things to talk about than that. Like Malcolm Rodriguez, this is a big loss. This is a huge loss for the Lions.
So Peter Van Larhoven says, we need to run the damn ball and stop with the trickery. I say, let's throw the kitchen sink at them and run the ball as much as we can. Whoever wins this run game is going to win this game.
Well, I think whoever stops the other run game is going to win this game.
Exactly.
I think that's the ticket now because we are so banged up and we're bringing in fresh meat to kind of help us win here. That's the ticket right now is who's going to help us win. Without Josh Paschal on the outside, that is a big glaring hole for them to run through. So we need someone that's going to step up. I don't think that Paschal's going to play this week. I don't. I think that they're going to shut him down, unfortunately, and let him get healthy for the long, for the long road here. But if everyone believes that the Packers is the biggest game of the year, maybe they'll let him play. But then you're risking a bigger, more worse injury. So there you gotta think about that too. Like, what's more important now or 4 weeks, 5 weeks from now? What's more important? It'd be great to get a 1 seed and to get that extra bye week. That would allow us not only to get healthy, but we might get some other guys back, right around the end of the season and give them a week, well, basically 2 weeks to get reacclimated and to get back up to playing speed, which would be plenty of time. A couple of weeks is plenty of time for these guys to get acclimated and back up to playing speed. But if you come back in week 18 and you have to play in what's week 19, that's not a lot of time. It's really not. Kind of what happened to CJ Gardner last year. Just wasn't enough time. He was a liability out there. That was a big mistake putting CJ Gardner out there before Brian Branch. Huge mistake.
Yeah. And all you guys in the chat talking about the Gibbs thing, I have the same thing to say as Dan Campbell did in his press conference yesterday. No comment.
Well, I'll comment.
Go ahead.
That was Jefferson that was in the photo.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So Gibbs took a photo of Jefferson, and he had the board in the background.
Yep.
There should probably be a rule that there is no cameras, no phones allowed in the meeting room. Period. No photos allowed in the meeting room. Ever. You don't even need your phone in the meeting room. It's meeting time. You're going to have to put it in this little basket as you walk in the door. Treat it like the FBI does. But I will say this. Dan Campbell's on another level. You don't think that stuff was put out there? It's all fake. You don't think that stuff was just put out there to kind of throw the Packers off our trail a little bit? I bet you we hear Kardashian this week, Thursday in the game. I bet you we hear red, blue spider, red, blue spider. It's all fake. Dan's on another level. Dan's throwing the Packers off. That's what it is.
No comment.
And if it's not, time for the phone basket.
Yep.
Because otherwise, here's what's going to happen. Does this mean that Ben Johnson and Dan Campbell and Jared Goff just had midnight mass all weekend because they're panicked and they've got to change the terminology on, half a dozen plays that you could actually see in the picture? You couldn't read the details, right? You couldn't read exactly what and who was doing what and where on the play. You couldn't read it. I tried to clean it up. I tried to clean up the picture.
I say this.
Couldn't read it.
If it's real, 100% real, okay? And they can read what they can read, I don't give a darn. I'm not changing anything. I don't care if you think you know my calls or not. That's like running the ball when you know we're going to run the ball. Stop it.
I love the confidence, but yeah, if you know the play, it's a little easier to stop. It's actually really easy to stop. If you know,
they know we're going to run it on 3rd and 4. We run it anyway.
Yeah, and a lot of this stuff, someone just said it in here too, was just protection calls, running back protections. So kind of where they're going on what their assignment is on the play. And you couldn't read those. You couldn't read any of it. All you could read is what the call was at the line, or what the call was going to be in the huddle.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, their plays are like 35 words long, I swear. But yeah, I think it's just garbage. I don't think there's anything to it. I think that there's that writer, whoever was asking the question in the conference was probably told to ask the question. Just saying. I think that Dan's on another level. I think that he's throwing everybody off the trail. It's a short week for them. I mean, yeah, you get 7 days, but it's still a short week. I mean, they're prepping for the Packers yesterday.
They were prepping for the Packers 10 minutes after that game.
Well, let me read this. So John Macaroon put out a article here asking if the Lions, basically have given up an advantage to teams with the leak. And I'll just read it. He says, Detroit Lions running back Jahmyr Gibbs made a mistake over the weekend after the Lions defeated the Bears on Thanksgiving. A beat reporter brought to the attention of Dan Campbell a photo had been circulated online of running back Jermar Jefferson. Unfortunately, the photo, which has now been widely circulated all over social media, featured information pertinent to the offense, including drop-back protection calls written on a whiteboard. Running back Jermar Jefferson spoke to Lions on SI after practice Sunday and discussed how the unit has addressed the mistake and if the information would provide another team some sort of a competitive advantage. Here's what Jefferson had to say. Not really. It was a mistake. I feel like it was a mistake. Hold on. Let me diagnose that. Not really. It was a mistake. I feel like it was a mistake. What does he mean if I feel like it was a mistake? That gives me a little bit of pause right there. It hasn't really been talked about. Just as backs, as the players, we've been talking about it. That's about it, though. So Dan Campbell didn't address it?
Oh, I bet you he did.
According to Jermar Jefferson, he didn't.
Well, maybe he's like, you guys need to self-police this. Take care of it.
Well, there's really nothing to self-police other than you don't do pictures in the locker room or in the meeting room. But
I don't think Dan Campbell even has to say anything. Dan Campbell has let these guys run their own practices with no coaches on the field. He doesn't even need to say anything. They know.
As of yesterday, the coaching staff has reportedly not addressed the matter with Gibbs yet, but they were expected to. What makes the Lions one of the most successful teams in the NFL is the locker room polices itself. As a unit, it was made pretty clear that taking photos and sharing information from media rooms is not going to occur moving forward. Jermar Jefferson noted that, yeah, exactly, something quick, yeah, just don't do it again type thing. The young running back expressed the information that was presented on the whiteboard is modified consistently, and the offense doesn't just operate by what is written. It changes every week, said Jefferson. We just don't go by those protections on the board. When asked if the information presented, if changed regularly, was easy to retain, Jefferson replied, I've been in the building with this offense for 3 years. It's pretty easy now, but when I was a rookie, it was pretty hard. Now it's just like second nature. Former Lions offensive lineman TJ Lang called the photo a nothing burger. David Bakhtiari, who played in Green Bay from 2013 to 2023, shared a different opinion online. He said, yikes, this is very damning. the retired lineman shared online. Plays are pretty universal. It's the code words that they assign and use at the line of scrimmage that is the problem. Going to have to completely revamp new words to assign a no huddle code words or OTL code words. According to the sources with knowledge of the situation, Detroit's coaching staff is not angered but disappointed that a player who played for Nick Saban at Alabama and who is considered a cerebral individual would make this type of a mistake. Gibbs is not expected to face on-field disciplinary actions, but the team could lean a little more on Montgomery this week due to his success against the Packers. I
like what TJ Lang said, and it's the exact same thing I put online when someone asked me about it. It's a nothing burger.
Well, yeah, I don't think that this is going to be anything to worry about. I really don't.
Yeah. And that ex-Packer, he just wants the Packers to win. So he's going to say whatever he wants to say.
Well, let him follow it. It's probably already changed.
Yeah.
And if it's not, it was intentional. If I hear red blue spider come out of Jared Goff's mouth this weekend or this Thursday,
I'm going to laugh.
It was intentional.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to be like, they're going left, and we're going to go right. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
What you do is you go up and you make that same exact call 2 or 3 times during the game and do different things out of the exact same call.
Exactly. That would be.
We're going left. Second time we run this play in the third quarter, we're going right.
That would be incredible. All right, we'll be right back here in just a second from one of our messages from another sponsor.
Every day, thousands of people are discovering Uper Lights, Michigan's newest, funnest rock to go find on the shores of the Great Lakes. Don't go out with just any light. Try the Convoy C8 from uperlights.com. It's guaranteed for life, and you'll find all the ones everyone else misses. Quality UV lights that are perfect for Uper Lights with prices starting as low as $20. Please make sure to visit uperlights.com for all your UV flashlight needs with the best guarantees on the market. Just what you wanted and not what you didn't. The best quality, the best guarantees, and the best UV flashlights from uperlights.com.
All right, final few minutes here of today's show. So, look, man, we've got a tough road to hoe in front of us. This is not going to be easy. The Lions are really up against it right now with injuries. They've done an excellent job this past weekend in bringing in 4 players that can help this team. 3 on the defensive line, 1 in the defensive back room. Eric is the ultimate roses and rainbows. And
no.
you know, everything's going to be green on Sundays. And
no, it's not. It's going to be blue.
Snow on Christmas.
I hate snow on Christmas.
It's just not, you know. It's just not the way I am. I'm the truth, the honest, the transparent, the guy that is going to give you the harsh reality at times. We are up against it. This is going to be a very tough 5 weeks that we have to manage, facilitate, manufacture wins any way possible. If we can pull it off, this will be the best Detroit Lions team I've ever witnessed in my life. It already kind of is.
It is.
Right? But I got to tell you, man, some of those Barry days were just too incredible to watch.
But Barry never had a team.
No, he didn't. But what I'm trying to go with here, though, is if we can pull this off, there's not another team that's going to be able to beat us. If we can pull this off. If we stumble a little bit, we can lose 2. And that's it. We can lose 2 or maybe just 1, but we can lose 2 and still be okay. Even if we're at the 2 seed, I don't know. I don't. Actually, I don't think we can be at the 2 seed, can we? Can we be at the 2 seed?
I don't know.
I forgot what the playoff predictor said.
if we win our division, we can still be the 2 seed.
Yeah, that's true.
But listen,
the 2 seed makes it tough.
2 things. All right. I'm going to start positive. I want to give a big shout out and a thank you to Riley O'Brien for filling in the other day when I couldn't make it. The show was awesome. I tuned in for the whole thing. I just couldn't be on that day. I was down at my dad's for Thanksgiving, had an awesome Thanksgiving dinner, the best turkey I've ever had in my entire life. And my dad got the turkey at Meijer for like $6 or something.
You know, I had the same turkey. It was the worst turkey I've ever had.
Oh God, it was so good. He put it in the brine. He said the brine was $6 and the turkey was like $4. So he spent like $10 on the Thanksgiving turkey total. And the turkey was, I'm telling you, it was the absolute juiciest, best tasting turkey I've ever had in my entire life. It was so good. And then thank you, Ryan O'Brien, once again for tuning in. And I'm going to say something that I said on my very first time when I came in as a guest on this show. Number 1, I root for whoever is playing the Green Bay Packers. That is my favorite team. And my favorite team this week is the Detroit Lions. And I am 1,000,000% anti-green and gold. I root for the Detroit Lions no matter what, but I will not root for the Packers ever in any game, ever in the history of ever. I absolutely hate the Green Bay Packers. And listen, I will never change. I will never root for them to win. Just like earlier in the year, I didn't root for them to win. And I'm glad I didn't root for them to win, because then they would be a 10-win team right now. If they would have beat the Vikings, they'd be a 10-win team right now. I'd rather the Vikings, the frauds, be the 10-win team versus the Packers right now, because I believe the Packers are a much superior team to the Vikings right now. And I will be rooting in a couple weeks for the Vikings to beat the Packers. I will not root for the the Packers no matter what, no matter who they're playing. That's my 2 cents on the Packers. We have to win this week.
Well, as far as turkeys go, I have cooked 4 turkeys now since Wednesday. And yeah, the Meijer ones were terrible.
Yeah.
I don't know why, just terrible. The Butterball ones didn't even seem to be a Butterball turkey. Just didn't have the same flavor that a Butterball normally has. But I don't brine, you know, I spatchcock them, or I'll do them, you know, different ways. This year I didn't do any smoked turkeys, and I didn't fry a turkey this year, but yeah, maybe I'll get back to it next year. But yeah, the turkey I made last night was actually the best. It was a 22-pound bird I cooked yesterday. That was actually the best turkey.
Yeah, my dad did it in brine, and then they cooked it in not a slow cooker, but a thing on the tabletop for 4 hours. Yeah, roaster.
So that's how my grandfather used to cook all the turkeys, and that's how I've always cooked all my turkeys. This year I didn't use the roaster, so that could be the problem.
Yeah.
But yeah,
man. I've had turkey every year for 49 years, and that was the absolute best by a mile that I've ever had.
We should probably find out what his brine is.
I don't know.
Peter, I'll be there Thursday. Brine. I'll be at the next couple of games. I plan on being there for the Packers and the Bills, for sure. I don't know what time I'll be there on Thursday, but I am going to do this. I am going to be bringing some. What?
Where the hell is Broski Bear?
Oh, he's got his tail tucked. He's got
his
tail
tucked. He didn't come in on Friday. He's not here today on Monday. What the heck? Did he get completely kicked off of YouTube for being insane on Friday or something?
No, he just doesn't want to come and face the music.
Oh, he's ducking us. I thought maybe it was because he owes me Bears tickets to go see the Bears. I thought maybe that was our bet, who's going to buy the Bears tickets to December 22nd.
Yeah. Well,
he's ducking me now. Yeah.
We'll see if he honors his part of the bargain here.
Yeah. Let's see. So that's the only game I don't have tickets to is the Bears game.
The Bears game. In Chicago.
Yeah, in Chicago.
Yeah, I don't know that I'm going to that one.
I don't know if I'm going either. That might be the only game I miss.
I don't know. We'll see. It's only a 3-hour drive.
More like
All right,
10.
but you guys have a great one. Great day. Eric will be off tomorrow, so it'll be back to solo. If you guys haven't, please check out. I don't have any samples. Please check out buymeacoffee.com/rockdown. Get your Honolulu Blue Brew. Today, it's only $23 now, so shipping has been crazy. Matter of fact, I paid more in shipping than I think I did for the coffee.
Yeah, you gotta get like Ship Pirate or
I use all that stuff, yeah, but the shipping has just been nuts. The prices have gone crazy. They've even now added an amount for Christmas, I guess. I don't know. They've added an amount for the season. It's extra. It's built in now. So anyway, coffee's $23. Get it today on buymeacoffee.com/rockdown. There's going to be another flavor that is popping up, so I need your help. What is the next flavor? What should we call it? This one is a medium roast, so it's a little bit lighter. I can't remember. It's got notes of berry and chocolate and something else in it, but really good coffee. I'm going to be brewing some as soon as I get off here today.
Sonic. There you go.
that?
Sonic blend.
Yeah, I don't know. I got to be careful. Can't use the name Sonic, right?
Okay.
So what should it be? I try to stick with one word names, but I'm okay with with this one. So I'm going to give you the name that I came up with. Ready? It takes some more.
There you go.
It takes some more. And it does kind of taste like s'mores. So it's pretty good. All right, we'll see you guys back in the morning. Tell me what you think about It Takes S'more. And you guys come up with your version of a name for the coffee by tomorrow. We got to get it on. All right, you guys have a wonderful day. Go Detroit Lions, go Win Pride. Let's beat these damn Packers, man.
Yes.
I'll be talking Packers tomorrow, but we'll be talking Packers mostly on Wednesday. Eric will get his homework done for Wednesday when he comes back. Take care, guys. See you later.
The season is here, and you want the latest news and rumors on your Detroit Lions. Head to sportspider.com. That's sports, SPYDER.com, where you can get your Lions news and all your sports in one place. Man, this site is packed with your favorite podcasts, live news, articles from local writers, and insiders, all updating in real time. Not just the Lions, every major sports team, including MMA, UFC, and so much more. Don't want to waste time searching? Sign up for free. Create your ultimate sports news hub. You control what hits your feed at SportsSpider, your #1 source for all your sports. Visit sportspider.com today, right after the show.